Andrew Snowden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Every week the Prime Minister comes here and reads out this pre-scripted nonsense that bears no resemblance to the questions he's actually asked. The Leader of the Opposition asked him about Peter Mandelson and he answered about the war in Iran. The Leader of the Opposition asked him about Mandelson again and he answered with an attack on the Shadow Justice Secretary. He was asked about Mandelson again and talked about protests in London. What is he scared of? What is he hiding? For a man who has spent years presenting himself as a forensic investigator, he has certainly had a blind spot to the details for this convicted paedophile with a friend in high Labour places. So I shall ask him again, when he found out that Lord Mandelson had an ongoing relationship with the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, did he speak to him personally before appointing him ambassador to the United States?
Mr. Speaker, we've set out the process. It is being put before the House. But I know why they don't want to. They don't want to talk about the war because they supported going into the war without thinking through the consequences. That is a huge error of judgment. I realise they don't want to talk about it ever again. I'm not surprised. Nor do they want to talk about the Shadow Justice Secretary saying that Muslims are not welcome to prayer in Trafalgar Square. She should remove him from their front bench, or I suspect he'll be up there next on that trail.
There's a question being asked inside the House of Commons that the Prime Minister simply refuses to answer. And the longer he dodges it, the worse it looks. This week, an MP stood up at the dispatch box and asked Keir Starmer a direct question. One that cuts to the heart of judgment, integrity, and what really happened before Lord Mandelson was handed one of the most prestigious diplomatic posts in the world. When did Starmer know about Mandelson's relationship with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein? And did he speak to Mandelson personally before appointing him as Britain's ambassador to the United States? Simple question. Clear answer required. What did the Prime Minister do instead? He talked about Iraq. He talked about a shadow justice minister. He talked about protests in London. He talked about everything except the question being asked. 3 times the question came. 3 times it was buried under political noise. This is not just evasion. This is a pattern. And British voters are sharp enough to see it. The political significance here goes far beyond parliamentary theater. Mandelson is not a minor figure. He is one of the most powerful political operators in modern British history, now representing this country at the highest levels of global diplomacy. If there are serious, unanswered questions about his associations, questions that touch on one of the most notorious criminal cases in recent memory, the public deserves answers. Not deflection, not whataboutism. Answers. Starmer built his entire political brand on being forensic, precise, principled. That image is now being stress-tested in real time. Because a leader who claims to hold others to account, but refuses to be held to account himself, has a credibility problem that no press briefing can fix. For ordinary British citizens, this matters deeply. Trust in public institutions is already at historic lows. When the man at the top appears to shield powerful allies from scrutiny, that erosion of trust accelerates. People aren't just watching a parliamentary exchange. They're watching whether the rules apply equally to everyone or only to those without friends in high places. The opposition will not let this go. The questions will keep coming. And every non-answer Starmer gives makes the original question louder. In politics, it's rarely the act that destroys you. It's the cover-up.